Hi there, my name is Amanda. Today I'm going to be talking about how to connect an existing data model on Fabric and start to see that data model or start to browse that data model on Excel. This is one of the ways you could do self-service through Excel directly rather than being on Power BI. So first question is, what is a data model really? So a data model is a mechanism of grouping all your data into a central place. A typical data environment in corporations is there'll be multiple systems implemented, ERP system, perhaps an expense system, perhaps an HR system, maybe a supplier or a vendor system. But the thing is, in terms of how the data is stored on the ERP system, it tends to be spread across multiple tables. And this is due to implementing best practice when it comes to technically creating tables on the ERP system so that the ERP system is efficient when it comes to storing data, retrieving data, and doing what a typical ERP system needs to do, right? And fulfilling that process of the business and being able to capture data throughout that process. But when it comes to browsing your data, you have to combine all that data, join up the data, and figure out the relationships between all of those tables, and then create a report or some type of dashboard that has KPIs that the company is interested in. So that process, it can be cumbersome combining data for every report that you're trying to build. The way to solve this problem is a data model. And typically what a data model does, it hides this complexity behind the model. So what happens is the joining and defining the relationships and figuring out what all the tables that you need to combine to create a complete customer view. That's what happens in the back end. And by the time you see your data model, it's grouped into logical entities such as customer information, vendor information, product information, and then the KPIs, which could be your revenue, your cost, your profit margin. That's all linked already to products and customers. And all you need to do is drag the information that you're looking for and then look at it and then view it against the KPI that you're interested in. So I'm going to show you all of that. But I just wanted to take you guys through high level what problem a data model tries to solve. All right, let's dive into the demo. First step is on my screen right now, you can see this is Microsoft Fabric. To get to Microsoft Fabric, you'll use the link that I'm attaching here. So once you're in here, you can navigate to Fabric, or you can stay on Power BI. Really, it doesn't matter that much. But this is how you know that you're already in Microsoft Fabric. If your organization already has a capacity, if they already bought a capacity, you'll automatically be linked to that capacity. If not, you can be on the free trial for about 60 days, but you do want to check in with your organization about Fabric and getting on the paid the paid plan, just to continue using the features. But if there is already a data model set up in your organization, you would already be on the paid plan. Okay, the first thing to do is to navigate to the existing data model that is that your organization has built. So I'm just looking for my workspace really quickly. So it is in the dev reporting workspace. So I'm just going to navigate to that workspace. And once there, I'm going to navigate to the DM AdventureWorks data model. All right, so this is the data model. It is a star schema data model. It looks like a star. The middle table is called a fact table, but this is where all your KPIs would go. So these are all the measures. All the measures of a data model would be in the fact table, and all the KPIs would be in there. So these are all the dimensional tables. This is all the different entity groupings, like your customer information, your product information, employee information, etc. And it's all linked to your KPIs. So on your left here, this is also where you would see the actual tables, and you'd see what's inside of those tables. The fact has all the KPIs. The dimensional tables, such as the customer table, has all the information about the customer. There's also employee information. Employee dimension also has just everything about the employee. So essentially, you can see all your data grouped in a logical way. And yeah, this is the star schema with all of the information. So I'm just going to show you guys how to browse this data and browse this data model essentially on Excel. All right, so let's open up Excel. Okay, once in Excel, you can just see there that I'm logged in with the same organizational login. So once in Excel, I'm going to navigate to data, and then I'm going to go to get data. And then I'm going to go to Fabric, from Fabric and Power Platform, go to from Power BI, and then I'm logged in as my org here and Dataracity Inc. And then I'm going to click, and that will prompt me to log in again. So just make sure you have permissions to the workspace. If you don't, you can ask IT for access. And once you're in here, you can see here all the tables that have been created as part of this data model. Same tables that I showed earlier in Fabric. And then you can click Insert Pivot Table to view this data model in Excel. This is just me logging in. Once logged in, it's just going to load for a minute. And then there you go. This is my data model. As you can see there, that's the fact / KPIs. So I can see all my KPIs here. They are grouped into folders. I can see gross profit margin, and I can see all the dimensional tables that I showed earlier. We have the customer dimension here, product dimension. We even have a date dimension. And yeah, so we can just start putting some data onto the pivot table. So I'm going to just grab my category and I'll drag it down to the rows. And then I will drag the gross profit into values. And then I can see my category and what profits are linked to which category. And I'll just grab I'll just take the subcategory as well into the rows section. And I'll also be filtering on category here, just to show that you can do anything that you could do with a normal pivot table, really. So yeah, once you're in here, you can look at the data however you like. One of the things that come with a data model is a date dimension. So this is just basically different ways to slice and dice your data using dates. So your fiscal year, fiscal quarter, fiscal month, all of this will be defined here, and it would be already linked to your KPI. So you would be able to see what profit you was generated at for a specific year, on a specific month. So I'm just dragging in the year, and I'm also going to drag in the month so that you can just quickly see your profit split into year and month. And yeah, this is how you could get started to browse the data Oh, one thing to show here is that you can refresh the data at any time on your Excel by right-clicking and clicking refresh. So the refresh should happen, like the pulling of all the data from the different systems should happen on the Fabric side of things. So bringing in all the data from all the systems and linking up the data should happen in Fabric, and then the refresh should also happen in Fabric. So by the time you get to this point, everybody is looking at the same information, meaning the timing is also accurate, meaning everybody is looking at data that was refreshed yesterday or this morning or 5 hours ago, instead of everybody pulling the data at different times of the day. So that's a nice thing about having one view of the data, or one data model to use across the organization. Okay, so that was the demo. I hope that was really helpful. Please do leave a comment if you found this useful, or if you have any questions about how to set this up, or data models in general. Happy to answer any of that. And yeah, thank you so much. Till next time.